Go. All right. So I'm going to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today. We have Brooke Easton with William Easton Design is doing a lunch and learn for us on social media best practices and why your business needs social media. Your business needs social media because everybody is on social media. Brooke handles our social media for our creative homes and our home show, and she's also doing our helps Michelle out with a lot of our ads and questions. And so we're just really, it's wonderful to have her as a member and helping us with all of our social media. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brooke. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Carol. Hey, everybody. So first and foremost, if you guys have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat and we can answer them at the end. Because I know sometimes when you have a question and you're like constantly thinking about it, then you have a hard time paying attention. So if you have that question, just toss it in there and then we'll answer them all at the end. So today, some of this stuff, I'll be honest with you, some of this stuff may be things like, oh my gosh, I already know that stuff, like get on with it already. But then some of this stuff might be, oh, I never knew that. So bear with me. There's kind of a little mix of like advanced things and like beginner stuff. So just bear with me. And as always, feel free to ask questions. All righty. So I'm going to go over today's agenda because sometimes you have to kind of know what we're going to talk about first. So today's agenda, the big things we're going to talk about is why you need social media. We're going to talk about how to optimize your business on Facebook and how to optimize your business on Instagram. And then managing content creation and building engagement is kind of what we're going to talk about today. So why you should listen to me and why I'm important, I guess. So I am a marketing professional. I have been in the marketing industry for over 20 years. Our business was actually founded over 20 years ago. And so we started kind of when the .com bubble started, and then we kind of evolved from web design into social media and then full digital marketing over the years. And then our whole goal as a business owners, and we're small business owners too, so we kind of understand what you all are going through when trying to manage your social. So our goal is to be your marketing expert so you can concentrate on running your business and in the end make money, right? So let's get started and talk about some things. So I'm going to give you some statistics. So social media by the numbers. So as Carol said, the reason that you need to have a presence on social media is because it's where your customers are. It's also, fun fact, where your competitors are. So if you aren't there, you're losing out. You're leaving money on the table. Interestingly enough, with the pandemic, the numbers on social media and on digital platforms grew exponentially during the pandemic. And those numbers are staying fairly the same too. So people aren't leaving, people are still staying, and they're actually pivoting their businesses to be more online, to have more online stores and to do more business digitally. So you're going to want to be there. So social media platforms gained 490 million users this year. It's a 13.2 increase. And the previous years were only 7.2. 83% of marketers use social media advertising, and people who claim that social media helped them make a purchasing decision is 87%. So, and I can see those numbers just going higher and higher as we keep evolving. So, are you using social media to build your business and why you should? So number one, SEO. So for those of you who don't know what SEO is, that's search engine optimization. It's basically what I like to call Google juice. So Google loves all things content. It loves new content. It loves helping you find things. And so your social media actually helps build your brand on the internet. So if you like Google your business, a lot of times what'll show up is your website, right? But then if you do a really good job, your social media channels will show up too. And so it's just one more place that can be indexed with Google so that people can find you and find what they're looking for. Market research. So this one's kind of interesting. Basically, what it is it's a way to have an easy way to have a focus group, right? you end up gathering all this data from your customers of what they want, what they're looking for, what they like, and start building relationships and having conversations with them in an easy and informal way, along with building community. So I always love it when people are like, oh, you can't build a relationship with people online. It's so hard. Okay. I have like 500 Facebook friends that would disagree with you. I mean, I have friends that I've met like overseas, like, and we are really good friends. So the internet can connect people. It's just how you do it is the key. And then, of course, like we've all said, your competition has digital marketing. They're using their Facebook pages and their Instagrams to leverage their business. So, like I said, if you're not there and they're there, who are they going to go to? They're going to go to them. All righty. So, where brands start. So, here's the deal. There are a gazillion social channels out there. Like there's so many. I mean, there's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Clubhouse, TikTok, Snapchat. I mean, so many. And people are like, oh my God, where do I start? And what do I do? Here's the deal. Start with Facebook and Instagram. And the reason I say that is because Facebook basically has 2+ billion users. The demographics are men and women, 18 to 65. It's basically where everyone expects to see a business. Instagram, which is growing as well incrementally. And just to be fully transparent, Facebook owns Instagram. So they love to work together too. Like the platforms work really well together. And that's also why I suggest these two, because they like each other. So they have like 1 billion plus. Demographics are about the same, but it's also one of the places that doesn't have the, it's pretty, it's nice, it's calm, people like it. It doesn't get people riled up as much, right? And so people love it there. And it's also very entertaining and it's pretty. And younger people are there. So if you are trying to attract a younger audience, that's where they'll be. All right, so when we talk about creating your social channels, what I want you to remember is your photos and your logos are going to be what you need to tell your story. So when we go in and we talk about like Facebook headers and things like that, we're talking about making sure that they're recognizable. So in the upper right-hand corner, the lady with the shopping cart, if that was your social media profile picture, I would have no idea what that is. But when you look at the Target logo, you know what that is, right? So make sure that your photos are clear, identifiable, and that they actually illustrate your logo and your information. So like Airbnb right here, their cover photo may be, you know, one of their places that they rent out, but their actual profile photo is their logo. This is extremely helpful when other places are going to be tagging you. So I don't know if any of you have ever tagged a business. When you tag a business in your social media and it basically shows up like this big, right? You want to be able to identify which business it is and what logo that is, okay? If it's the picture of a cup of coffee, I'm not going to know if that's the coffee house down the street or the one, you know, in another town over, right? I want to see your logo there. That way I know I'm tagging the right business. Okay, so Facebook, of course, changed a lot of stuff and they keep changing the look and feel, and more changes are coming. So just be aware of that. They are going to be doing away with some ways of how you post and stuff, and you'll probably start getting invitations for what is called Business Suite. Say yes to that. Accept that, and you want to be in Business Suite, so say yes. What I want to go over this, and it's a little bit, you're probably thinking, oh, this is kind of elementary, but there are some things in here that people don't realize are important. Okay, your Facebook cover header needs to be mobile optimized, okay? When it's in On the desktop, you can see all of this. When it's on mobile, I can only see all of this. So if your messaging goes the full length, or your visual goes full length, and if half of it's cut off in mobile, it's gonna not look right and your messaging is gonna get lost. So make sure it's optimized for mobile. The other thing we just talked about was your profile picture should be your logo and something clear that clearly identifies who you are. Okay. So please don't just put a picture of like the door to your business, or like, like if you're a restaurant, don't put like the interior of your restaurant, put your logo. And if you're a solopreneur, here's the other thing. If you're a solopreneur or like a realtor, let's say, you can just put your face in there. Okay? You can put like your own profile picture in there. That is totally fine. So remember that. Your vanity URL. So so the thing that we use to tag all of the businesses, right? So like at IC area HBA Parade Homes, which is very long, which we had a discussion about. But here's the deal. You want it to be something that is part of your business. So I have seen businesses use like Iowa City lighting experts, right? Well, if I'm trying to tag your business, Iowa City lighting experts isn't going to be something that I'm going to like try and like tag you in. I'm going to try and tag your business. And then when we try and do that, it's not going to come up and it's going to be extremely frustrating and the person's going to give up and they're not going to tag you. Make sure it's the name of your business. Even if you have to add a location behind it in order to be able to capture that vanity URL, or like I've seen some people do like an LLC or an Inc. or a biz at the end of it, but make sure it is something that is almost exactly identical to the name of your business so that it's easily taggable. This is how you're going to help build community. You want to be tagged by everybody and everything. Okay, right down here underneath that URL is all your tabs. You can customize those tabs based upon your business. So if you are a venue, you can customize those tabs. If you're just a regular business, you can customize them, but you can also customize which ones show up first. So if you're a business that is extremely event heavy, you're going to want your events to show up first, then maybe your about, then maybe your videos, that sort of stuff. But you want the key things that you want people to see to show up right there without them having to hit that little down arrow that says more so that they can see what you have to offer. Okay. A fully complete and clear about summary. Okay. You get a lot of space in here to write what you want about your business. You could almost write your whole business origin story in here, but make sure it's clear. Make sure your location is clear of where you're located. Make sure there might be a small call to action in there, like give us a call, contact us to learn more, something. You can have a small call to action in there, but really get down into the nitty gritty of what it is you do and how you can solve your customers' problems. The other thing is the learn more button. So there are multiple options on this button. You can even have a book now type of button there where you can actually capture appointments right away and be able to capture clients and be able to get them on the books and get an appointment, and use that button to the best of your advantage. The other thing is when you use the learn more button and you're going to use a URL to direct them somewhere, if you want to close the deal and you want a strong call to action, don't just gear them toward your like homepage of your website. Gear them toward your contact page of your website, right? Gear them toward where you want them to take that next action. That's what you want to do. You don't want to leave them guessing. Okay. So we're going to talk about Instagram really fast too. So Instagram profile. So here, even more important is that profile picture needs to be your logo because it is tiny, like tiny on there on Instagram. So make sure it's easily identifiable and that it is your profile picture. You get to decide what your category is going to be. You can also pick your handle, which is your at whatever, like at Target. You can choose that. And it can also be different than your actual page name. So your at name could be like, for example, my personal one is at Redhead Reverie, but my actual name on my account is Brooke Easton. So you can have the differentiation there. So to keep that in mind. You are allowed now in your profile bio to have one clickable link. So that can go to your website. It can go to a strong call to action. Some people use a Linktree so that they can have different links in there for places for people to go. So just keep that in mind, but you are allowed to have one link in there. Your profile bio is only 150 characters. Make sure it tells what you do, where you do it, and you can also use hashtags, you can use emojis in it, make it fun. And then your highlight reel, which are the little circles above underneath the follow. Highlight reels are great. And what they do is they help create like a cohesive brand. It also creates a place for people to go to really learn a lot about you. So let's say you are a builder, right? So you could do our team in there so people learn about your team. You could do pictures of kitchens. You could do pictures of bathrooms. You could do pictures of whole house tours. But then people have one place where they can go to get to learn the most about you in there. Then left to right, so these little icons that are below the highlights kind of tell you where you can go in Instagram. So going from left to right, you have your Instagram post, which is just your grid, which is just your normal grid. You have Reels, which we'll talk about in a minute, Instagram TV, Instagram guides, and then tagged posts. Tag posts are probably going to be one thing that if you're a business owner that you will probably see a lot of. So like if you are a builder and you've built this amazing house and this person's like super excited and they take tons of pictures of their house and they share it on Instagram, they're going to tag you. And then that's where you're going to see that come up, is in that little square right there. Okay. So now you're like, okay, well, I set all this stuff up. Now what the heck do I do, right? So there's a few things you need to do before you jump into content creation. Otherwise, your content creation isn't going to go anywhere, okay? So you need to start here. First things first is you need to define your ideal customer, because if you do not, you are going to be targeting the wrong people and you're not going to get the engagement that you're looking for, okay? Key thing is that your ideal customer is not everyone, okay? So you need to define your client by their age, their buying habits, their income, and their location. On our website, there is underneath the blog part of our website are a bunch of worksheets that will help you through this process of defining your ideal client. It asks a bunch of questions. I encourage you to do this as a team effort and to really nail down who that person is. And fun fact, we actually name our ideal customer. She has a name and she's pretty awesome. So people have a lot of fun with it. All right, so second thing you need to do is define your brand voice. Okay, so how are you going to engage with your clients? Are you going to be super formal? Are you going to be fun? Are you going to incorporate emojis and puns or memes? So we had a restaurant client and they loved puns and we used tons of puns, and puns are fun and they rhyme. So have fun with it. I mean, this is how you're going to create your business personality, and you don't want to be one thing in person and another thing online. So make sure these two things are cohesive and that they talk to each other, okay? The third thing you're going to want to do is define a schedule. Do not ever attempt to create content and start posting on social without having a plan, okay? And really, really, really nail it down, okay? So what I like to do is I designate certain days as fun topics. So we have Tip Tuesdays, Fun Fridays. The key is to be consistent with the day of the week and the time and the topic, right? So like every Tuesday is a tip on whatever it is your specialty is. Every Friday, we do like a fun Friday post of like, would you rather, or something like that. So really be consistent and post the same time and day all the time. And what it does is it creates this really nice rhythm, and your audience starts to predict it and they start to look forward to it. The other thing is if you go in to try and post without a plan and a schedule, you're going to sit at your computer for the whole day and you will get nothing done. I guarantee it, because you will be so overwhelmed that you will be like, oh my God, I don't know what to post today. And then you're going to go and look on Facebook for ideas, and then you're going to fall down the rabbit hole, and then nothing will get done. So just a heads up. What we like to do is we take like a Friday or a Monday, and we actually plan out for our clients, we plan out their whole monthly schedule at the first of every month. So we have all 4 weeks done, and we know the topic of what we're going to post and how we're going to post it for a whole month. All right, so now we're getting into the nitty gritty of creating content. And sometimes, and I know this gets overwhelming for people, and you know, it's hard to think of what to post, but I think intuitively, you know, when you know your business well enough, you know how to talk about it. You just need to talk about it in a different way that's on social. So here's the deal. First things first, not all content is created equal. So each platform requires a different type of packaging for your content. Facebook's going to be really informative, and graphics are great, but you don't have to be too concerned about how beautiful they are. Instagram is a little bit different. Instagram, you're going to want gorgeous images, eye-catching things, and maybe keep your captions a little bit shorter. Okay, you want to target your message. I always like the 3 E's. Your goal to talk to your client is to educate them, entertain them, and engage them. That's your 3 goals while you're trying to solve your client's problem. Okay, so just remember that always. And then remember, it always comes back to your client. So you're always solving your client's problem, and don't deflect. Like some people like kind of go out a little bit, and then you lose your client and you lose the point of what you're trying to talk about. Always circle back on that, on solving your client's problem in a creative way. And then stay relevant. So only post what's relevant to you and your business. Don't stray off topic. It'll confuse people. So I think I had once a florist that was like posting a lot of real estate stuff, and then it started getting really like muddy, and it was super confusing, and it was like, well, what is this? Is this a florist? Is this a realtor? I don't understand. So just really stay on topic and on track. And then engage. So ask questions, get their opinion. Always respond to your comments and DMs. Never ever post and ghost. Okay, so don't just post it and leave it and don't worry about it. Go back and check in and comment on people. People always ask me too, well, how do I respond to negative stuff? Whether it's negative reviews, negative comments, whatever. Here's the scoop. Number 1, you're the boss of your own page, right? So if someone's super, super rude and using words and commentary that you do not agree with, you don't even want to deal with because it's just so horrible, you have the option to either A, delete that comment, or you can hide the comment, which still shows up to the person who commented on it, but doesn't show up to anyone else, which is sometimes what I do, because if you delete it completely, then they might come back and be like, why'd you delete my comment? And then they'll get really mad. If you just leave it there and you just hide it, no one else knows, and they think it's still there, and then they're like, oh, okay, and then they just move on. Now, if you have a client who has an actual complaint or issue related to your business, please respond to them. And respond, the way that we do it is we respond within the comment section of the post, and then we take that conversation and we move it to instant messaging. So we always say, hey, can we get, or an email, and we say, hey, can we get all your contact information, DM us your contact information. We'd love to talk about this further, you know, that sort of thing. Get it out of the comment section. If you start having an argument with a client in a comment section, that's not a good thing. Okay. So also have fun with it too. So, you know, you can always answer other people's comments with, I always like gifts. Gifts are fun, like if they're like, oh, that looks like a fun place. I'm like, yes, it is. And like give like thumbs up gifts, whatever. Have fun with it. All right. So here's some do's and don'ts. Um, Consistency is the key to everything. You cannot start a Facebook page, post consistently for 2 to 3 weeks, take 2 to 3 week break, and then hop back on and post 2 to 3 weeks again, or like take a 3-day break and then post again, 5 days later, and like, please just be consistent. Otherwise, it's like starting at ground zero again every single time with the algorithm, because it takes the algorithm time to learn and everything else, and you're just going to start from scratch every single time. Cohesive branding. And what I mean by that is you create a social media look that is cohesive across all of your like print materials, your website, anything that represents you. Have your social media look like that, right? So same fonts, same color scheme, same way you talk to each other, same pictures. So if you have like pictures of your products up in your storefront, use those same pictures on your Facebook page, right? So you want to look the same in person as you do online. I always recommend people use Canva. Canva is great. You can create templates in Canva. You can find all the colors and fonts in there, and you can do some really fun things with it. And it's super easy, and anyone can use it. Even my mom can use it. That's how easy it is. Engage as your business. So this is a fun thing. So on the new Facebook page, if you look at the left-hand column, I think it's about the first tab, it says newsfeed. Your business Facebook page has its own newsfeed, just like you do as a normal person. And you can go in there, and as your business, you can like other businesses and comment on their stuff. Find businesses like that are tangent to yours, right? So let's say, let's say you're a builder. So it would be like people like bathroom design places or lumber places, or, that type of stuff, the HBA, the, the cities where you build, follow their pages, and then comment and like and share their stuff through your business page. This is what building community is all about. Okay, and then as we mentioned, plan ahead and schedule it. So take a day, plan your content schedule for the month or week, know what you're going to post each day. We always love significant social media holidays. They make our job so much easier. So like National Pet Day, Earth Day that is coming up. Cinco de Mayo is always a good one, things like that. In Facebook, you don't post like you used to in the olden days on your Facebook page. You need to go to the left-hand column and click on Publishing Tools. And then you need to click on Creator Suite. And then you need to publish and post through Creator Suite. It makes it so much easier, and you can link your Instagram to Creator Suite, and then you can post from Instagram and Facebook right in one spot, and you can schedule both. So you can schedule your Instagram from Facebook and post different content on both platforms. It makes it so much easier, and I am telling you, scheduling is going to be a game changer for you. You can schedule things out months ahead of time. So use it. It's so helpful for you. Okay, when we talk about don'ts, please, 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 I'm begging you, do not ever buy Instagram followers. This used to be a thing. I think people have finally understood that that is a bad thing and not to do it, but there are some people that don't. But just don't ever buy followers. It's not worth it in the long run. And people can see that you've bought followers. it totally ruins your credibility and you can get your account suspended. Don't ever post with grammar and spelling errors. Make sure your posts are free from all of those things. And if you need help with that, there's a Grammarly extension that is very, very helpful when posting all that sort of stuff. Don't post and ghost, always stay engaged and keep the conversation going and respond to reviews and comments and likes. Don't be constantly selling. Okay, so I have the 80-20 rule. 80% of what you post on social media is supposed to be educational, fun, and engaging. 20% is come buy my stuff, right? Or a strong call to action. Now, that's not to say that at the end of some of those posts that you're educating and stuff, you can't say, hey, by the way, if you have a problem with X, Y, and Z, feel free to give us a call. That's fine. But that's a soft sell. It's not like up in your face, like, hey, buy our stuff, buy our stuff, buy our stuff. Okay. No one responds to that even in real life. I mean, if you're of the age I am, anyone remember going into the Buckle and like being bombarded with people? That was like, no one ever liked going there because it was like the salesperson would come right up to you. No one likes that. Okay, so next up. So I'm going to give you some examples of what to post in content because I think having a little bit of things to start with is always helpful. So on Facebook, a lot of you probably in your business have encountered frequently asked questions, right? Use those frequently asked questions and package them into a question on your Facebook page. So like, why should I have an HBA member? How do I contact an HBA member, right? Or how do I find who can build my house? Things like that. We get these frequently asked questions, utilize them on your page. Share behind the scenes. People love to see what you're doing behind the scenes. They love to see the inner workings and kind of have a sneak peek of what's going on. And it also helps introduce them to your business in a nice, fun way. That can be done through video. It can be done through still photos. It can be done through a day in the life, however you want to do it. Tell stories. So Facebook's great for being able to share your origin story of your business and how it started and why you do what you do. Share your why. Industry tips. So that comes back to that Tip Tuesday, right? So share some fun tips of like, how do I buy a house? How do I get a home loan? Things like that. All right, so we're gonna show you an example of page. So this is gonna start right away. Okay, so these are some of the platforms of ways that you can use Facebook. And if you see Carol's beautiful face in there. So Facebook Lives are great and just the perfect way to get to kind of do a panel. You can interview a client. You can interview a tangent business person. You could interview an employee, however you want to do it. Or you could just get on a Facebook Live by yourself and chat with your customers. But Facebook likes Facebook Lives. They like them a lot and they bump them up into the feed and they get a lot of attention. Same with video. So this is a video that we created.
And I've got a handicap problem. I got a couple of bad
Habitat
knees.
Humanity.
I needed to have a ramp, and my goodness, Habitat for Humanity built this great ramp here, and it helped.
So the good thing about that, see, the customer is doing the work for you, and it gives you more credibility. So in that video and in that story, we had basically what is a testimonial, but it wasn't packaged like a testimonial. It was packaged like a story. That's what you need to do. This number post right here, we do a lot of statistics. And if you just see a number pop up on your Instagram or your Facebook feed, you're going to be like, well, what does that number mean? And then you're going to stop for a split second and wonder what it is. This is a fun one. And for some reason, it's not playing right now. But it slides through.
Helps me get to my vehicles.
Oops. There it went. Now it's finally working. So it slides through, and that's like a carousel type of post. And it just basically gives you all the features and benefits of the product in a cute and fun way. what I like to use is carousel posts and collages for realtors when they're trying to sell properties. It gives, you can look at every aspect of the house in there. So that's really cool. All right, Instagram. So fun things to post on Instagram. When we talk about user-generated content, that's going to be your best friend. So remember when I talked about all those people that are tagging you and stuff? Go to them and ask them and say, hey, can we reshare your stuff? And they'll be like, well, sure, that's fine. You know, I already tagged you in it. And so then you have content right there that you can use. And it's content that, number one, saves you time because you didn't have to create it yourself. Number two, it provides credibility because it's from a client. It's like the perfect win-win. So always, you can repost from fans and followers, tutorials and fun facts, show a tutorial on like how we always show, tutorials on like how to do social, how to hints and tricks on Instagram, things like that. Quotes are great on Instagram. And then really beautiful, glamorous product shots, really, really pretty photos. I can show you some. So Airbnb does a great job of this. Realtor.com does a great job of this, of where they like show really gorgeous photos. The Shed Aquarium up here, so captures really gorgeous photography that gets your attention and stops you from scrolling, and then they'll tell the story in the caption there. We did a very fun grid layout when we did our rebrand. You can use these really cool grid layouts for new product launches. Let's say you finally finished building a house and the house is completely built. You can show it. And each little corner of that is a single square for an Instagram thing where we talked about why we changed our branding, why we have a new name, why we do what we do, and so it gives a really nice origin story and then accumulates into this beautiful graphic. So there's a lot of back and forth on your Instagram grid. Should your Instagram grid be highly stylized? Should it not be? I mean, as you can see, realtor.com, it's not, right? It's just really pretty pictures. Magnolia's is, but that's like her thing, right? Like that's Joanna Gaines' thing. It's like, I'm gonna make it cohesive and I'm gonna have it be really stylized and really pretty because that's my thing. And I think you just have to find what works for your brand. The key is to go back to that branding that I talked about and that cohesive look and just make sure it's cohesive. Just make sure that it matches the rest of your collateral in your business and like you're not using hot pink over here and then purple over here and blah, blah, make sure it just all looks the same. Now, the other question I get a lot is, do I need to brand my photos on Instagram? No, 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 you do not. You can if you want to, but to be honest, when people are going through it, their feed on Instagram, number one, they're probably on their mobile phone. And so your logo is going to show up this big. So it's not going to matter. They also can see who it is because your logo is already up at the top, right? So they already know who they're looking at. So technically you really don't need to brand them that much. You can keep them just a really cool photography and it'll be completely fine. And that's what Instagram is for. Facebook, on the other hand, we do brand those. And that's just because there's so much sharing too, that Facebook's easier to share, that having your images branded can be beneficial to you. All right, so remember when I was gonna tell you about Reels and TikTok and all that sort of stuff, and I guess Reels mostly, but Reels is like TikTok. So don't worry, you don't have to dance. That's not the only thing they do on there. Like Lowe's, they did this awesome video.
Go from can't to plant. Here's how you get your garden ready for spring.
Right.
First step is to remove the dead plants and weeds.
So that's a how-to, right? And that's a reel, and it's so easy. And I actually have clients, I will actually have a lot of clients who do not want to show their face in video. They just don't. Number one, some people don't like it. Some people don't have the time, however it works. you can create a quick little video with graphics that can be a reel easily. And all it has to do is be informative. So we, a lot of times we take blog posts and convert them into a video. So it's like 5 things you need before you buy a house, right? And then it's like, you need to be pre-approved, you need to check your credit score, you need this. And then we create like a little video based on that and then upload it into reels or stories. And no one has to have their face on there. No one even has to talk. Everything is done for you. So super, super easy. Reels on Instagram is going to be your top traffic driver right now. I was just looking through my Instagram feed the other day, and I was being dealt practically every single thing I was being dealt in my Instagram feed was a reel. So just keep that in mind, that that's going to be the next big thing. So if you want to gain traction, it'd be good to kind of learn it. Now, if you're just starting on Instagram, don't worry about it. Just build your grid, just do traditional Instagram stuff, build your following, and then you can kind of dabble in other stuff. Don't overwhelm yourself, okay? Because if you overwhelm yourself, you're not going to do it, period. Okay, so here's the other thing. There are, like I said, there's a bunch of other channels you can be on. A lot of time you just have to pick the channels also that kind of pertain to your business. But I mean, you can be on Twitter, you can do a tweet storm, you can do multiple photos on Twitter. Twitter is great for if you're a business that benefits from like needing to get instant messaging out. Twitter's a great way to do that. City councils like Twitter because they need to get information out quick and that sort of thing. LinkedIn, if you're a B2B, it's really nice to be on LinkedIn and to have a presence there. You can position yourself as an expert in your field there. And you can show your guide side, which means you can show that you're a guide and that you are an expert. TikTok is fun. It will get you that younger audience. So if you are really, really trying to get Gen Z or below, hop on TikTok. If you're trying to sell to my 14-year-old kid, please get on TikTok, really. You will sell to him in a split second. TikTok's great for tutorials. I can't count how many times we have actually cooked something that has been on TikTok. Kind of funny. Entertaining, a day in the life is great on there. Pinterest is great for anyone. I don't know if anyone else is part of like housing or like housing design, but if you're on House, you should be on Pinterest too. So Pinterest would be great for builders, great for designers, interior designers. Yeah, anything like that. You can create boards and stuff on there and get a great following. They also have monetized it now. So you can have ads on Pinterest, and it's actually doing really well, I think, because a lot of people haven't tapped into it yet, so it's not as busy over there, which is great, because then you get kind of your own little attention there. YouTube, I don't know about you, but I go to YouTube for like every how-to video on the planet. So like how to unclog my drain, how to do whatever. So YouTube's great if you are trying to teach people how to do things. If you want to answer questions, customer testimonials are great. Always show them how to do it. Don't tell them, right? So especially on YouTube, I don't want to sit here and listen to me talk like this. Like I would actually bring up Facebook and go through a tutorial, and you probably wouldn't even see my face, right? So just remember that. Let's see here. All right. So I know I went through things really, really fast, but I kind of wanted to save a lot of time for questions and stuff because I feel like there's going to be some. So our whole key points that we talked about. So why you need a social presence, it's because it's where your customers and competition live. And if you aren't there, you're leaving money on the table. You need to optimize all your business accounts, make sure your social accounts are set up correctly and your brand is clearly defined. The 3 things to do before posting: you need to define your client, define your brand, and define your schedule. And you need to create content that connects. So make sure it's targeted, relevant, and engaging. And above all, have fun. If it turns into a mundane task, you will not follow through and do it, period. And so you need to have fun, and you need to look for the fun aspects of it. That's pretty much it. I mean, if you want to follow us or you want to reach out with any questions, this is where you can find all of us. And then now you can just ask me all the questions you have, and I will be happy to answer them. Although I do not, Carol, I can't see the chat actually for some weird reason. Oh, I think you're muted, Carol.
I am. I realized as soon as I started talking, I was like, I'm muted. So we'll start with from me. Yay, locals love us. You had how many locals love us winning, showing up on there? Michelle has 3 questions. For mobile optimize, are the dimensions on handout what appears on mobile?
Okay, I will get, so if you go back, I gave you let's go back real fast. They are on there. Basically what you want to do
So I can get to the live.
is you want to have it centered, and then that will be what shows up. And I can get you oops, it's right here. It's 850 by 475 pixels is what it is. So what I would do is create a box that's that size and then overlay it over your actual Facebook header that is normal size, and then see what fits into those parameters to try and get your main message into that parameter. So like, to be honest, if you look at Easton, this is funny, right? If you look at Easton design on mobile, our Facebook header is not optimized for mobile either. It cuts off our logo. So when I was going through and looking at all that stuff, I was like, oh yeah, well, I should probably fix that. So, but yeah, keep it kind of more in the middle. It's gonna, on some things, it's gonna look a little weird when you look at it on your screen, but since so many people look at mobile stuff, it actually will end up being more beneficial in the long run. So.
She also wants to know, how do you customize the tabs?
Oh, okay. So if you go to the left-hand side, that is all in your settings. So where you do your page rules and all that stuff, it's all in there, Michelle.
And then she said she had 3 questions, but she forgot the 3rd one.
Welcome to my world.
Kayla Fisher comment, great information. She had an unexpected call, needed to log out. Thank you for your presentation. From Patrick Cryer, thank you for putting this on. Brooke and Carol, if you're recording this, I'd love to watch it again later. I have it. He had to tend to clients. Have a wonderful day. And then I posted in there, one of the HBA member benefits that we get is House Pro. And I put the link in there for the NAHB member benefit for House. And so you can click on that and get into the information. But our members do get House and NAHB have an alliance that provides benefits for members, including personalized support, special discounts on local advertising, and House Shop. So if you're interested in House and optimizing it, you do get discounts as an HBA member.
House is starting to become a social channel all on its own, almost, especially among like builders and home decor people and that sort of thing. So it's really interesting to see how that's grown in the past few years.
And there are builders that don't have website because they only use House and Pinterest.
Yep. Yep.
One thing, the younger builders.
Yeah, right. One thing I did not mention is hashtags when it comes to Instagram. Whenever you're posting on Instagram, it is good to have at least 3 to 5 hashtags. It just helps people find you better. I actually built an entire realtor Instagram just through hashtags. And so and was able to get them a really good following that way. So they do work. Do not use, don't use over 30. I think that's like your max is 30. Don't use over 30. Actually, it's good to just only use, maybe the max would be like 10 to 12, if even. And also it's helpful to make sure that your hashtags aren't in the same order every single time, to like mix them up. So like start with, you know, one, you can have all the same hashtags, just mix up their order. So it kind of helps a little bit with that. And I never put them in the comments. I always do put them in the actual Instagram post, and I just put like 5 little dots and then put the hashtag there. If you go to, there's a website that gives you the most popular hashtags for your category, and it's called Display Purposes. And if you go to that, it'll give you the top hashtags for whatever it is you're looking for. So like, if, you know, home buying or whatever, and it'll give you all of the top hashtags for that. Now you do have to look at them. Some of them are kind of obscure and not relevant, so you may have to like sort through them a little bit, but you can copy and paste direct from there and just pop them in, and it's super easy and so helpful. I also keep a set of hashtags that I frequently use in the Notes app on my phone, so that if I'm on the go and I need to, you know, post something for a client or whatever, I can just refer to that Notes tab, and then I can copy those hashtags and have them right there. So it saves time. Anything else? Oh, Carol, you're muted again.
That's it in the chat. Jenny Winterlick says, thanks for the great information. Does anyone else have any questions for Brooke while we have her?
You can ask me anything. Well, almost anything.
I've been using Planoly, which also goes to Twitter and for Instagram. But now if I started scheduling and doing Instagram stuff within the Facebook Creative Studio, is it worth trying to do Twitter? I guess it just depends on what, or
I guess that depends on what your ROI. Yeah, what is your ROI with Twitter? I mean, and that's the other thing I want to say too. When we talk about, you know, posting and ghosting, that also means you don't ignore your analytics, right? So the whole idea is to post a little bit and then go back to your analytics and look and see like, well, which posts got the most engagement, which ones got the most click-throughs and traffic, you know, and then post more of that content. So, and that goes for any platform too. So it's good to look and see like what your ROI is on Twitter and see if it's, you know, what's beneficial and what's working over there and what's not.
We could do another lunch and learn about analyzing analytics.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's like that would be like a whole thing. Huge thing. Yes, 100%. And that's all changing too. So just a heads up on all of that. Because of the new Apple update changes and stuff, like some of those analytics aren't going to be available anymore through Facebook. That's why I told all of you too to get Business Suite, because they're moving a lot of their analytics into Business Suite. There's a lot of changes that are going to be coming within the next 3 to 4 months with Facebook regarding analytics. So, and that's, you know, and that's one of the benefits of like when you hire us, you don't have to worry about all that stupid stuff. Like just hire us and we worry about it for you. Like, because I mean, social changes so much. It's just like, it's absolutely ridiculous how much it changes. And just about the time you think you got it, it changes again. So yeah, or a new thing comes up or whatever. So yeah.
So Sharon with Leppert Krieger Realtors, going back to what you just said, she wants to know if she can reach out to you if they have questions.
Yes.
And I was just going to put your email address in the chat. And then
yes,
everyone will have that.
And we're available for consult. Like if you don't want us to like do everything for you, like if you just have questions or whatever and want to consult with us to make sure you've set everything up right or help you with like content calendars or whatever, we can help you with all that stuff. That's fine.
That's what we do.
Yep.
We have you on a consulting basis, except for parade and home show and stuff.
Yep.
So, Brooke, in that vein of like the consulting part, if you were reluctant to do any of this technology, but realize you probably need to, would you be, is there a level that you would have the exposure, but not necessarily, you were talking about you don't want to post and ghost, but if you really don't have the bandwidth to manage it,
Mhm.
obviously we could hire you to do that, but is there like a level that is not from a dollar and cent standpoint, but that, hey, you have enough presence, but you're not
Yeah.
fully vested in that? Because that's my fear. And I think some of the other builder members and remodeling members we have right now is understanding the need to do it and the promotion aspect, like we do with the home show, where you're planting seeds long term, but also like, dear Lord, please God, do not have anyone call us today. And I would pay money for that right now. And that kind of knowing that will change at some point,
Right.
but strike that balance that it's appropriate. So we have fun things happening, but that you don't have to think about it, but it's also not like 55 notifications that are coming from our social media today. Is that
Right.
something that you kind of help with and specialize in?
Yes.
Makes
Yes.
sense?
Yes. 100%. And I think it depends on what channels you want to be on. You know, the best thing to do, like I said, Facebook and Instagram love each other and they like working together. So if you want to create both of those, what you do is you create an Instagram and then you just cross post the same content to your Facebook. And then it's just like, then you're only really managing one channel, right? Really. And then responding to that one thing. So
We'll reach out because I don't know anything you're talking about.
that's
That
fine.
commercial where you don't want to be your parents, that's me. So that's fine.
That's totally fine. Yeah, totally reach out. And like I said, like we've done it where we've gotten businesses all set up and then trained somebody on staff to do it and to show them what to do and then, you know, let them go. So we can do something like that too. We've done all sorts of stuff. So, yep.
Thank you.
So in the interest of time, real quick, I am going to talk about our next Lunch and Learn, and then I'll ask the next questions. And that way, if anyone needs to get off, to get on with the rest of their business day. So we have Iowa City Historic Preservation Lunch and Learn. It is on Wednesday, May 26th at noon. It'll be Tracy with the City of Iowa City. And so it's talking about the historic preservation districts in Iowa City, and as a homeowner, what you can and cannot do with your home. And then also as a builder or a remodeler, what you can and cannot do for that client. And then going through the Historic Preservation Commission. So it'll be very informative. It's good information to know. And then, so if anyone's does need to leave, since we are at 1 o'clock, thank you for joining us. But otherwise, I am going to go ahead and continue on with the rest of the questions for Brooke, if you're available, Brooke.
Oh, I am. Yep.
Okay. So Grace with PSC wants to know, what are your thoughts on LinkedIn? Is it still a relevant social media channel, or is it truly more for business connections?
Okay. So fun fact, I have a friend who did a LinkedIn mastermind and she posted consistently for 60 days. What I love about LinkedIn is it's almost like old school Facebook, where you can just like post stuff and get information and things. I think you need to look at what your business goals are and who your ideal client is. And if your ideal client falls into that parameter of, yeah, they would use LinkedIn, then yes, go for it. And here's the thing, you can always try it and test it and see. I know people that use it for kind of networking. And then I also know people that use it actually to position themselves as experts. We had a realtor who was on there. That was not the ideal place for them to be at all. Instagram was more bang for their buck for where they needed to be. So I think you just need to decide, you know, what your goals are. And Grace, I'm so sorry. You're with PCI, right? No, who are you with?
PSC Distribution Studio H2O.
Oh, H2O. Instagram and Pinterest most likely would be better than LinkedIn for you, to be honest. I just think that would be probably the better avenue. You want to show off pretty things and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Well, plus they have, I mean, Jenny does videos and they've got talent.
Yeah, and the thing is you don't need to feel bad about not having a presence on every channel, because not every channel is going to work for you. So like, don't feel like you just have to do it because everyone else is doing it either. So that's just something to keep in mind.
So that is the last question. We are a little after 1 o'clock. And again, Brooke, I want to thank you so very much for taking the time to do this for us. And I'm going to stop recording right now.